few months ago, I made a promise to myself and it completely changed my life. See, up until now, for the past 3 years, I've been working in fast food jobs. Pizza Hut, Domino's, Subway, McDonald's, a coffee shop, everything. You guys might be like, girl, you worked there for 3 years, you clearly liked it. No, I did not like it. In fact, I hated it. Long hours every single day. They never let you get weekends, days off, because that's when they're most busy. You constantly smell bad, like constantly. I'd have a shower, go to work, and then I would just smell like pizza straight away. Or when I was working at McDonald's, I'd literally smell like burgers and Big Mac sauce, and it was just no go. Especially when I was working in Pizza Hut and Domino's, I would come back so greasy. Like my hands, my nails, my skin had full grease. Because if you guys have worked in pizza, you know the pans and all the oil and stuff when you make dough, like under your nails, literally I remember like under my nails there was like black grease that would not come off. It was the most disgusting thing ever. And then working at Macca's, you'd come home and your fingers are all salty and you just smell like Big Mac sauce. I can't get over it. Coming home smelling like Big Mac sauce? No. I hated that. And don't get me started on freshly washed hair, having to put my hair in a bun, and then hat. Ugh. And then your freshly washed, voluminous hair just goes flat. Why? Because it literally had to go in a bun, in a hat. Okay. Especially, I remember I started working at Pizza Hut when I was 13, and I was not allowed any days off. I was part-time, but I was full-time, bro. I was literally full-time. Working 6 days a week. So I'd go to school, I would literally work from 4 p.m. to 11 a.m. and then you sort of get home at like 11:30, like, because you know when you close up the store and then you have to like throw out the trash and then you have to find your way home, and my mom was always asleep and I was literally 13, like hello, catching Ubers, whatever. Literally would come home so late. I remember I had the worst attendance because I just couldn't wake up for school, like literally. I'd be late every single day, and then my teachers were like, why were you late? And I was like, oh, I had a long shift last night, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, tell your boss, like, because I remember it was assessment time and all my teachers were getting so mad at me because I was so behind in all my classes, and they were all like, tell your boss, like, you have assessments right now, like, cut down the shift, blah, blah, blah. And your bosses don't care. That's the thing. When you work in fast food, they expect fast food to be your entire life. And it's like, in my eyes anyway, okay, it's not a real job. Like, I don't know, that's my opinion. I said this to someone and they were like, no, it is. Like, yeah, it's a real job, as in you are putting your back into it, you are working and you're making money, but at what cost? Literally smelling bad, being 13, and then as soon as you're actually 18, they replace you with people that are cheaper and younger. You're in the most easily replaceable job. You literally have no security, no nothing, no freedom. You're not allowed days off, bro. Like, I may as well be working an actual office job that's gonna pay me a good amount of money, or at least teach me some sort of skills. Like, why am I putting all of my time into working a fast food job, a dead-end job, unless you want to go up the manager ladder, but let's face it, you won't be able to, because as soon as you're 18, cutting your shifts. I actually can't. Like, it makes me mad to think about how much time I wasted, like the amount of birthdays I missed, the amount of time, like I remember I worked for my birthday 3 years in a row, and mind you guys, my birthday is Christmas Eve. My birthday is literally on Christmas Eve. I worked Christmas, I worked Christmas Eve, I worked all my family members' birthdays, and when you tell your boss like, hey, I have a birthday, they don't care. Or at least all my pizza jobs didn't, because they weren't owned by like, you know, like when they're owned by the franchise people and stuff and they don't care. No, mine were owned by like independent bosses, and so they just like treat everyone so bad. No freedom, no nothing. You work here now, you're stuck here, and your life must revolve around this job or you're out. Like, I remember Pizza Hut, I told them I had COVID once. I didn't have COVID, and I sent them in a photo of my friend who did have COVID, their positive test, and they told me to come into work anyways, and I was like, no, I have COVID. And then they said to me, like, no, we're gonna fire you if you don't come right now. And they said, when did you take this test? And I said, oh, like an hour ago. They said, oh, well, then it's not valid. You have to go ahead and take another test. And I was like, okay. sent them another test, and I said, okay, I still have COVID. Surprise, shocker. And they said, we don't care, you still need to come to work, blah, blah. And then I got fired because I didn't go. And then I literally went back the next day. What is wrong with me? I was free. And then I went back because that was the only way I knew how to make money, especially being young. I remember at my school, there was a lot of rich kids, and I asked them once, I was like, what do your parents do? Because like they had very, very successful parents. And they told me, they're like, not what you do. Because I remember I told them I'm on $8 an hour, and they knew that I worked so much, and they were like, girl, I'm telling you right now, you're in the wrong kind of business. And I remember I was so dumb, and I was like, no, you have to work hard for your money. You were born with money. That's why. I remember I was so mad at them. I was like, that's because you guys were born with money, or you guys were born with family businesses you can work into. Like, no, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to work hard and save your way to being rich. That was my issue. That was my issue. I wanted to save my way to being rich so bad. And all my friends thought I was crazy because I literally was like, did you guys ever watch that, like those episodes of Extreme Cheapskates? That was like literally me. Like, I was an extreme cheapskate. I remember like I'd go out with friends, they would go to restaurants, or like they would get nice food, and I would always be like, okay, I'm gonna get me like a Happy Meal or something like really cheap, and they'd get so mad and they'd end up paying for me. Or like my sister would like make me pay, and she's like, Minel, shut up. But I was like literally the biggest cheapskate, okay? And you wanna know how much I saved? In over a year of working 6 days a week, sometimes 7, but mostly 6 days a week, no days off, except for the one time I got fired. I saved a whopping $5,000. 5,000 Australian dollars. If you guys are in the US, like, what, like 3,000? Literally nothing. Nothing. What does that buy you? That doesn't buy you a car. Well, it can buy you, like, you know, like those cars that aren't cars. They, like, aren't roadworthy. They're broken, but, like, they kind of drive. That's what it will buy you. Like, literally, what is $5,000 gonna get me? And I was over here, 13, trying to hustle, getting paid $8 an hour. Like, girl, if someone pays you $8 an hour, you're not gonna get rich off of it, period. You have to find a way to make money in your sleep. If you're getting paid $8 an hour, I'm sorry, or even $20 an hour, $30 an hour, there is no way you're gonna save your way up to being rich, earning $8 an hour, or even $30 an hour. An hourly wage will never get you to be rich. You have to drill that into your brain. And when I realized this, I was like, dang. Just been a year with no days off. Missed all 3 of my freaking birthdays. Ugh. I remember I was so mad when I like realized this, but it was also so eye-opening to me because I was like, why don't more people realize this? Like, I'm literally like, I think I realized this when I was like 14, 15. That's something that's really scary and eye-opening to me, is watching other adults go through the 9-to-5 pathway, you know, getting paid by the hour. And the issue with why you will never be rich doing this is because if you trade your time for money, you're set to a limit because you can only put so much time per week into your job. Realistically, you're not gonna work 24 hours, 7 days a week. You're gonna work 8 hours, 6, 12 hours. Even if you work those hours every single day, you will never make real world money because you'll always be like, say you're making $20 an hour. You work whatever, and let's say you make $1,000 a week. Great. Even if you put every other spare bit of time you have into working, you're not gonna make that much. You're not gonna be having like $50,000 months, $100,000 months. You're not gonna be making real world money because you're exchanging your time for money, and you don't have unlimited time, girl. No. When this clicked in my head, I was like, what am I doing working in fast food? Seriously. I had no idea where I wanted to go after this. All I knew was I was not going to university, guys. The brains, not all there. But I was like, okay, I need to find a way that I can make passive income. I can make money in my sleep. I can make money on my own terms. Money that doesn't have a limit. Because, like, I'm not shaming people that work 9-to-5s and stuff, but it's sort of like a this or that sort of thing. You're giving up so much of your time in your life. Like me giving up my birthdays, bruh. All of my birthdays, all my family members' birthdays. Giving that all up for $8 an hour, or if you guys are getting a bit more, like, I guess I sort of asked myself, like, at what cost? Like, yeah, I'm getting paid, but look at everything I'm missing out on. Do I see myself doing something like this further down the line? No. I already hated my life at 13. I literally, like, I hated my job. I hated my life. And I remember I was so scared because, you know, you hear everyone saying like, oh, I hate my job. Like all your parents and stuff, you know, they don't love their job. They like come home and they're like, oh, long day at work, whatever. You know, you always picture a job to be boring and not fun. And so being 13 and realizing how much I hated working, like I loved working, but the job I was in, I remember it was just like so scary to me because I was like, I have to do this for my entire life. That's what really got me, is when you really sit down and think about that. I don't know how old you guys are, but for me, that was really scary, especially being like 13, 14. I remember I was like, I'm so young, I'm already working. Most of my friends aren't even working yet, and I have to do this for the rest of my life. And I was like, this is actually not worth it to me. It's not, because then what? You come home from a long shift, you go on your phone, you know what you see? You see millionaires on TikTok printing from their phone. I was trying to think of something and I was like, it's all really from their phone. Like content creators, people that do e-commerce, people that have online businesses. It all pretty much comes from your phone now. And that's something I really thought about is, you know, sometimes we blame our parents. We say, well, I didn't know any better. My parents, for example, they had normal jobs and stuff. And then it's like, I feel like some part of me used to like blame them because it's like, they didn't teach me how to have a business. They didn't teach me how to do any of this. But also imagine if your parents grew up in your generation where making money off of the internet is so accessible. Attention is the new currency. Attention breeds money, okay? I'm sure you guys would already know this, but it's a common fact. Businesses make so much more money than jobs. This is why business owners are always so rich, bruh. They literally go to sleep, there's sales being done, everything's being done for them, and they're making money in their sleep. They're not over here waking up and saying, oh, can't be late for work. I got a boss to work for, got a boss to serve, can't be late. Actually, I remember the day that I was like, nah, I need to be a business owner, or I need to find some sort of way that isn't working under someone, okay? This is like a very distinctive memory I have in my brain, and I remember it, like I've never actually felt sick to my stomach, but I literally felt so sick. So this is back in the day when I was working at Domino's. Basically, I worked at Pizza Hut for a year, boss was crazy, quit, didn't work for a year, and it was the best thing ever. Like literally, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how to live. And then I ran out of my $5,000 savings at the end of the year, so I had to go back to work. Anyways, that's when I started working at Domino's, and Domino's was even worse, okay? My bosses were actually mental, like they were actually crazy, like literally crazy. I remember they would actually scream at me like I've never been screamed at before, and I'd literally like cry. Like I would actually just cry. Like at Pizza Hut, I remember I used to like yell back at them and then cry, but here I couldn't even yell at them. Like I would just start crying because they would just scream at me. But I remember I have this one memory, okay? I was making pizzas, I was online, and then one of my bosses, my store was owned by two guys, one of them, the scarier one, he comes in with his daughter, and she's like 7, like she's really, really young. And so we're walking through the store and she says hi to me, and I waved at her and I was like saying hi, blah, blah, blah. And then she was trying to give me a hug and I was like, oh, like my hands are dirty, blah, blah, blah. And then her dad sees that she was trying to hug me. So like the boss, and he literally grabs his daughter and he's like, you don't touch those people. And then he was introducing everyone. He was like, see, these are the people that work for me, blah, 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 but like in the most rudest way. He literally said to her, he's like, okay, wash your hands, don't touch anything. He was like fully lecturing her at the sink because the sink was right next to me, so I could hear everything. Don't touch anything, don't touch anyone. And then I literally heard her saying like, oh, when I'm older, am I gonna work here? And her dad was like, he was like, no, you'd never work in a place like this. And I literally, like, I promise you, he said 2 types of people. There's the people that work for me, and then there's other people or something. And he's like, you're other people. Like, he was trying to say, I don't know how he worded it, but he was trying to say to her, like, basically, like, these are the slaves. These are the people that are poor, or like, these are the slaves. These are the people down here. They work for us, and we're up here, okay? You would never work in here. My love, my daughter, you would never, which I understand. Like, if I owned a Domino's, I would not let my kids work there either because it's trash. Like, it's not a good job. But he was literally, like, talking to us like we're animals. Like, we're, like, I don't know. It was the most degrading thing ever, and I was like, nah. And I feel like that's why a lot of people have like this opinion on businessmen and business people, and they think like, oh, greedy business people, they're so rude, blah, 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 because of the way they treat like workers. But I've met a lot of great bosses as well. I'm not saying like all bosses are crazy and mean and stuff like that, but just like that's something that really stood out to me, is like how some rude people will view employees, and it made me feel so degraded. Like I was like, why are you looking at me like I'm less than you? I'm less human than you. Just because why? I literally work for you, bro. Like, I'm literally out here breaking my back, scrubbing the floor, scrubbing each individual tile, and Domino's was bad, guys. I would literally work till 2 a.m. I thought it was bad before. Working till 11? Nah, this was like a whole different level. I was like, no. But it's like, I'm out here busting for you, and you're out here saying to your daughter like, oh, I would never let you work in a place like this. I don't know whose parents do, like, you know, and I was just like, what a prick. That is so rude. But anyways, I was so mad. I hated Domino's, quit, and that was a big moment for me as well, that I was like, I can't be a worker. Like, I can't, like, guys, I was not cut out for that life. Like, being an employee, and I'm not trying to, like, talk bad about employees. It's just, like, that was the moment where I was just really like, dang, like, you're out here working so much harder than the bosses, and why are they out here making thousands, tens and thousands of dollars weekly? Like, guys, my bosses were loaded. 8 stores, brand new cars, brand new house, like, everything. They're out here making tens of thousands of dollars. They just sit in their house all day or travel. They don't even do anything. I'm out here breaking my back, going to bed at 3 a.m., and they're making more money. I'm making nothing. That's something that really stood out to me as well, is employees and workers always put in more work compared to business owners when you take into account the money they're making, okay? Like, business owners work incredibly hard as well. That's not what I'm saying. But for the ratio between money being made for the work business owners put in and money being made for the work employees put in, completely different. The ratio is off. The ratio is off the grid, okay? You could be working, like I said, like in fast food, like how I was, $8 an hour, literally, like, bruises all over my legs from scrubbing the floor with this toothbrush-like scrubby thing, getting all the black grease off of the floor, breaking my back, damn near scoliosis, like, and I was getting $8 an hour. And then you could have another businessman who is putting in a lot of work as well, like a lot of mental work, a lot of, like, you know, a lot of paperwork, I guess, whatever business owners do, a lot of work, and they would be making so much more money. Like, the ratio is completely different, and that just, like, why would you limit yourself to $8 an hour, or however much you guys get paid at your traditional jobs? I found it really interesting though, because imagine all the work you're putting into your 9 to 5. Imagine if you put it into scaling your own business. Imagine if you put it into owning your own freedom. The same amount of effort. The difference is, when you put it into your own business, that money will compound. The skills you learn will just only take you even further. Like, everything will compound. You'll only go up over time. Like, truly imagine if you put the same amount of effort you're putting into your job into something like a business for yourself, or something that will help you earn that freedom, something that will make you real life money, something that doesn't have a limit. It's not time traded with money and, like, you know. But yeah, guys, that was the day I decided this needs to happen, and it needs to happen now, because imagine, like, literally imagine, because it compounds, imagine doing it so young, you're still in high school. Some people I know are really comfortable with the amount of money they make at their job, and they have no problems, and they don't want to, I guess, make more money for themselves. They're like, oh, I like the amount of money I make, I'm fine with it, you know, they don't have any issues with it. But I guess a big thing for me was, I saw the money I was making in fast food, which was not a lot. I saw that it literally would never have gotten me closer to any of my goals. And obviously, I'm a brown girl, okay. I know I mentioned before, school was out of the option for me, and, you know, having brown parents not going to school after they busted their whole lives to get you to this country. I live in Australia, by the way, in case you guys were wondering. But yeah, like, my family literally, like, dedicated their whole lives to getting me to Australia so I can have a good education, I can get a good job. and the least I could do was go to university and get a good job, and I didn't do that. I didn't. Okay, university has always been something that my parents like just assumed I was doing. Like, you're doing university, blah blah blah. Come to my senior years, didn't do ATAR, failed all my class. No, I didn't fail my classes, but like ATAR was just never for me. University never for me. Out of the picture. No. Guys, it wasn't for me. So with me ultimately choosing to go against my brown parents and not go to university, I was like, okay, in order for my parents to not hate me, not kill me, I have to find a way to make the same amount of money I would have if I became a lawyer or a doctor, or more, before they kill me. See, I really want to be able to not only make my parents proud, but also be able to give back to them. You know, I feel like a lot of immigrants will understand when you see your family literally dedicated their whole life to get you to this country. And I have cousins back in my old country, and they literally are so much smarter than me. They work so much harder than me. And it like kills me that God gave me this opportunity and they don't have it, like to be in this country, I mean. And so it's like I have to do my parents proud. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like I would literally like feel ashamed for the rest of my life. Like, if I just knew that I had family that would have killed to be in the position I'm in, would have killed to be in a country that you can do stuff like this. They would have literally killed for it to be in the position I'm in. Even making $8 an hour, bro, they would have literally been so happy with $8 an hour. And like, that's why I was like, I need to give back to my family. Like, that's a non-negotiable for me. It's like embedded in my soul. When I speak to my family on the phone and I'm seeing them literally like studying so much. Like, when I go to Morocco to visit my family, it makes me feel so grateful for the life I have. And it makes me feel so bad that there's some people out there that just don't realize how much opportunity they have. Like, you know, living in Australia, I feel like there's a lot of people that fall down that trap of just not making your dreams come true. You know, there's a lot of tall poppy syndrome. There's a lot of like, it's not like America where a lot of people are entrepreneurs. A lot of people have like more creative ways of making money. I feel like Australia is still very much so like, suck it up, get a job, that's life, blah, blah, blah. They don't really like to see other people getting creative and escaping their jobs. And that's something that kills me, because people in Australia, it's like you don't realize how good you have it until you go to these countries and you see how other people are living. Being able to speak English, I think about that all the time, like having immigrant family, like they wish they could speak even just English. Like they'd be out here doing all this stuff, doing what I'm doing, like they would be out here trying everything. They can't speak English. Like literally, like for example, content creating, you have access to the widest, like the biggest audience speaking English. That little thing that you take for granted, it's like insane to me, because I used to never care. I used to not like see how good I have it, I guess, and how good of a position I'm in to grow, till I just like, when I see my family, when I visit my family, and I realize like, dang, I really have everything like here that I need. I have every tool I need to build myself up, and I'm just out here working at Macca's, wasting my time. For who? What am I doing that for? And I feel like it goes back to what I was saying before about the tall poppy syndrome in Australia. It's like you don't feel safe to have dreams and have passions, even at school. When I would speak about, I want to be rich, I want to whatever, everyone thought I was like crazy, because it's like, does this girl think she's like Bill Nye? Like, what? That's a big thing I feel like, is people look at people that aspire to be successful and be rich and stuff, and they're like, oh, it's just about the money, they just want the flashy cars, oh my god. Which, yeah, I'm sure for some people, you know, it's like, yeah, you want the Lamborghini, you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you know? But truly, it's not always about just the money. It's really about what the money can do for you. Being able to retire your parents, being able to pay off their house, being able to just take care of them and give back to them, like how they provided for you their whole life, you know? And so for me, it's really not about the money. It's so much about what I could do with the money to help other people. Even I always think about, like, when I'm older, how am I going to give back to my family and my country? Because it kills me. Like, literally, it kills me. Why am I living here and they're living in a country where, you know, the education's not that good, the jobs, we know the vibes. And it's like, that's why I'm going to work my butt off till I can give back to them. Because if God chose to have me in this country, then he did it for a reason. And I don't just want to, I need to be able to give back to them. Or it would mean all my parents' hard work of trying to get me here was for nothing. I didn't even at least go to uni, bruh. And guys, like, come on, I cannot be staying at Macca's. No. I feel like it was at this point where I really realized, and it really hit me, that I need to make a change. I need to do something, and I need to do it now, because why am I just working at Macca's? Like, literally. I feel like I keep saying that, like, why? Like, why? Like, working at Macca's is the lowest point of someone's life. Why am I working here? But I knew I needed to change my life, and I needed to do it now. The longer I wait, the harder it's gonna get, especially once I get older and older, and my parents are gonna be like, okay, Manel, go to university, do something. So I thought I need to do the experimental stage while I'm young. So a few months ago, I decided to invest in myself to learn the skills I needed to start making money online. See, I saw 2 guys from my high school that were making 50K a month, 30K a month, and they were all able to do this in under a year. And they escaped their jobs, they were able to spend time with their families, and they were able to pretty much get my dream life. And I was like, okay. It was crazy though for me because like online space, I've always thought about it, but it's like, I honestly just didn't think it was real. You know, you hear a lot about, he's rich because he sells a course on how to sell a course, blah, blah, blah. You hear a lot of that, you hear a lot of pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme, like being thrown around all the time in your face. And so I remember I like literally did not think like the online space was even real. Like what? Unless you were doing like crypto or something, but like, nah. Guys, I don't have it in me to do crypto. I'm dedicated and I think I'm brave, but not to risk it all. Not the cryptos. I literally don't have the brain cells for crypto. But anyways, a lot of people ask me if I was scared to invest in myself, and you guys know I briefly touched on before that I was an extreme cheapskate. So was I scared to invest in myself? Yes and no, weirdly. I feel like it was after I realized that I can't save myself to being rich, and I'm kind of being dumb by just hoarding $8 an hour, like hoarding it, like literally living like I'm homeless in order to save something, because $8 an hour is what? A boost juice? Like, are you kidding me? So I was scared to spend like adult money on something, but it was weird. Like I wasn't afraid in the way of like, I'm scared to fail or I'm scared to lose it. I was honestly a lot more afraid of staying in my position and just guessing in a year, like, oh my gosh, I wonder what would have happened if I actually tried. I was a lot more afraid of not trying than I was of trying, if that makes sense. And I would have rather risked everything while I have nothing to lose than wait down the line when, you know, I'm older and, you know, it's a little bit scarier to invest and do things, you know. Like, while I'm still young, why don't I take charge of my life and just risk it all now? People do it at the pokies all the time on the weekends. I can do it for my future. And as soon as I invested in myself, there was no doubt in my mind that I'm going to make all of my money back plus more. The good thing about being like me and being like a hoarder of money and like really just like having emotional attachment to that money, because it's like I scrubbed floors for that $8, give it back, is that because obviously I like, in my brain, I view money as so hard to achieve because I'm used to my whole life having to scrub floors to make just $8 an hour. When I put down a serious amount of adult money, it's like a serious commitment to myself. Versus if I was a millionaire and I dropped 20 grand, it's like, I don't care about it. You know, I make that every hour. I don't care. It's not important to me. And then that way, it's not gonna mean anything to me. You know, I'm not gonna work to try and make that money back, because you know, money's not that important to me, if that makes sense. Like, I'm used to having a lot of money. I'm used to spending that kind of money. But me being used to $300 paychecks at the end of every week, spending like an adult amount of money, it was this really good way of making my brain commit to something, because it was like, I need to make this money back. Like, I literally need to. And so that's something is like, I also wasn't afraid, because it was like, I know in my mind that I was going to make my money back, and I was not going to be working at McDonald's for that much longer. So the day I invested in myself was really the day I promised myself that I would get out of my job and I would start working towards all of my dreams, and I would earn my freedom. It was then from here where I locked in every single day. Like, you guys, if you guys have been subscribed to me for a while, you might be like, oh my gosh, this girl is not locked in. She hasn't been posting consistently, which, yeah, I haven't been posting consistently, but I've also been so locked in. Like, guys, I've never, like, felt so main character in my life. Like, I would go to work all day at Macca's, and then I would come home, I would sit at my desk, I would whip up, oh, I don't have my laptop, I was gonna like fully do like act it out. But I would whip up my laptop, dark lighting, purple LED lights, main character music on, and I would just sit there like locked in, bro. Like literally like shades on, like locked in. Like oh my gosh, I literally like, you know what I'd listen to? Wait. This is the song. This was my jam. Wait, let me find it. Wait. You guys are actually gonna get a kick out of this. This was my jam in my locked in days. I'm still locked in, but in my locked in days, okay? Like, I'm talking like locked in. Wait, this used to eat?
What if? It's the what if.
Like these
I
edits?
could pull off a fucking miracle. What if I could help someone?
Like, I loved those edits. Oh my goodness. I used to watch those all the time. Just feel so many characters. Like, that's me. That's me. But no, wait. There's a specific song I'm looking for. Wait, this song. This song was my jam.
Life, I gotta get rich, I can't be broke.
Hey.
I was asking favors.
Okay, yeah, actually let's not get copyrighted, but that was the vibes. I literally went no contact from like all my best friends, and it's so interesting to see who your true best friends are, because I had friends that were like, oh my god, what is Minelle doing? Oh my goodness. And then like my actual best friends, it's like they understood and they like stayed with me, and like I'm forever grateful. My heart goes out to y'all. But yeah, you realize who your true friends are. Bonus! But anyways, I would literally come home from work, come sit at my desk, and lock in. I would join so much meetings. I've made so many friends in the online space, so much connections, and it's such an amazing feeling to feel like you like networked. But yeah, guys, you feel like such a main character when you come home from a long day at work. You feel like Batman, like on a mission. Like, low-key though, I am on a mission. What the heck? Parents asleep, you came home late, you know, long day at work. You sit at your desk and you work till the AMs, and you go to work and just like nothing happened. Like, it's so cool. It's literally like you feel like Batman. I don't know, I felt like so unstoppable. With that being said though, I'm romanticizing it a lot. It is definitely so hard. Like, it's not for the weak. You have to have that drive in you, I guess. And that's something good, is like, if you hate your job, you hate it, then that pain of putting all the extra work in it takes to be able to get out of your job will never compare to the amount of pain staying at your job. That's a big thing as well, is like, we hate our jobs and stuff, but then we don't think about how long are we gonna stay here? Like, if I can't put it up now, how am I gonna feel in another 5 years, like, of doing this? Especially me working at Mac is no money. Hello. It's like, what, $5,000 in a whole year of working? Woo! Can't wait to buy my first house when I'm dead. But after many months of just putting my head down and working, I finally did it. Like, it literally, I will never forget the first notification I got when I made my first bit of money. I think my first bit of money was like $340. I remember I was literally on my way to my McDonald's shift, and my payment notification came in, and I was like, nah, turn the car around. Once I was able to quit my job, I knew that I'm in the exact position I need to be from here. I'm at the bottom though, so it's time to work from the bottom and fully scale myself up. Using my weekends to get ahead, start improving my life in every single aspect, you know. But seriously guys, it's the most rewarding feeling when you know that you've been working towards a goal for ages. Staying in on weekends, cutting out all distractions, not spending time with your friends. All so you can work on your mission and work on getting yourself to your dream position. It's interesting though, after I got my first bit of money online, I didn't quit straight away. I wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to make that consistently, because the difference with when you're making money online or like business and a job is, the only difference is a job has stability. That's the only thing. So you know every single week you're going to make your set amount of money. But a business, sales can be low, you know? You're making money online. You might have weeks where you make no money. You might have weeks where you make 50K. That's what you sign up for when you want to make money online. You're letting go of all those stupid limitations that full-time jobs give you, like $1,000 to $2,000 a week full time. You have the option to make 50K a month or more. But just like you have that option, you might also have weeks where you make nothing. And so I wasn't ready yet to quit my job when I got my first bit of money. And then I think it was like a month later, I was bringing in more money than I was at McDonald's. I was like, okay, imagine if I put all my extra time now into this, I'd be able to make it compound so much more. I'd be able to make so much more because already it's like I was doing everything online so part-time. So then I quit my McDonald's job. Truly, I love the feeling of quitting a job. Like, bye. And they called me up and they were like, just out of curiosity, like, why are you quitting? And I was like, oh, I found a better opportunity. And they were like, better opportunity? Yeah. Duh. Honestly, anything is better than Macca's though. Like literally, like I could have said I was working like at a groomer place. Like I was like cleaning dogs. That's so much better than Macca's. Like I don't know what they meant. Like better opportunity, like anything's better opportunity than Macca's, bruh. But guys, the beautiful thing is this is only the beginning of my journey. Which, let's be real, guys, it shouldn't be hard to replace McDonald's income. Okay, I was making $300-400 a week. But now it's time for me to scale myself and start actually getting to those 20, 30, 40, 50K months. And I want you guys all aboard for the journey. But I want you guys to know right now, if you're in a job right now that's leaving you feeling a similar way that I was, feeling so drained and feeling like you're just not making enough money for how much work you're putting in, I don't want you to think it's the end of the world. I was literally able to replace my income in 2 months, okay? In 2 months of applying the skills I learned. And from there now, there is no limit to how much money I can make. So I don't want you guys to feel like you're stuck in that situation. Especially if you're still scared about taking these big first steps yourself, it helps to watch somebody else. That's what I did with those 2 guys that I said that went to my high school. I watched their journeys and stuff out of their jobs, and it was beautiful to just watch someone else do it, and it gives you so much more conviction in yourself. Oh, I ran out of space, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you guys can follow along my journey. Next step, me living in Dubai, owning a hotel. That's what I want, guys, my actual dream. Owning a hotel, okay, I want to call it Amari Suites because my last name's Amari. And then I want to bring my whole family and they all live in different, like, apartments. Like, I don't know why that's so weird, but that's literally, like, my dream. Like, anyways, next time I'll see you guys, I'll be, like, in Dubai. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.